help her.
Didn't help.
And she didn't like the feeling on Remeron.
Right.
And so ultimately in that message, you kind of reiterated what your overall recommendations were, right?
Yes.
And it was to continue with the Remeron for another 10 days, and that the alternative would be to restart Prozac and add the 25 milligrams of Seroquel nightly for anxiety and insomnia. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so were you recommending that she be on all of those at the same time? That she do the Remeron, the Seroquel, the Prozac?
Yes. And
in your experience in psychiatric care and prescribing medication, is it a common practice to pair low doses or doses of particular types of medications together to effectively manage a person's symptoms?
At this clinical juncture, my thought was the combination of Remeron with the Prozac to treat the depression with prominent anxiety, the Seroquel to help alleviate the sleep.
And you're also addressing the concern of benzodiazepine dependency, right?
Correct.
Did you encourage her to do something to help you to kind of manage her treatment track going forward?
Yes.
What did you encourage her to do?
I had noticed that Lindsay was attributing a lot of her symptoms to her medication. And so I attached to the MyChart message 2 different mood charts. And what those one is daily, one is weekly. What it is it asks the patient each day to rate their mood from like 0 to 3. Good mood, bad mood, normal mood. It asks about like, did you take your medications? What doses? What were they? Check the box. How many hours a night did you sleep? What's your anxiety level? What's irritability? And what I wanted from that was, because it had all those parameters about mood and then also the medication, did you take it? We'd be able to track over time what the progression was. Was it getting worse since we started the medication? Was it actually getting better? I just wanted more data.
And were you aware that she was actually tracking those things herself?
No.
Now, you continued to have some back and forth messages with her throughout the course of the day on November 30th, correct?
Correct.
So we have, she reached out to you at 11. You responded to her at 11:52.
Yes.
There's another message from her at 12:15, right?
Yes.
And just going back for a second, when you were asking her about worsening symptoms, did you ask specifically about suicidal symptoms?
I did.
And why those, if she was expressing some depression and sleep issues?
Suicidal thoughts can be a symptom of depression, and I just wanted to make sure I assessed that one because of its severity. And
is that something that's important to do before you make a recommendation to change a medication?
Yes.
Now, when she responded at 12:15, did she tell you anything about the suicidal thoughts, or if she was having any?
She said she's not at the point of being suicidal.
Okay. She also indicated, but I'm really feeling as if I can't go on like this, right?
Right.
And she asked you to call in the Seroquel.
She did ask me to call in the Seroquel, yes.
So based on her response, did you feel that she was taking the alternative that you were offering?
Yes.
And then at 12:29 p.m., you get another message from her where she asks for a phone call, right?
Yes.
And again, at that point, did you have a phone call with her, or did you continue to interact with her on the MyChart portal?
I interacted with her on the MyChart between patients, and I had my nurse give her a call.
And again, you said in between patients, so did you have the opportunity to pick up the phone and call?
I did not.
Okay. And is that one of the benefits of the messaging portal, that you can get back to somebody quicker?
Yes.
So when Before you were able to respond, did she send you some additional messages on my chart, if you remember? Or if you could look at your notes.
Okay. I see that the symptoms of depression that she reported.
Yep. So, just drawing your attention to 12:58 p.m.
Yes.
You get another message from her where she says the symptoms of depression that are much worse are just feeling completely hopeless and unmotivated. But based on taking it for 2.5 weeks, taking it to address actual symptoms of anxiety, did you have a concern of dependence?
No.
And so did you articulate to her that anything about that concept of dependence versus addiction? What did you say?
I said, I wonder if you fear you're becoming dependent on the benzodiazepines, and there's a subtle difference between dependence and addiction. With addiction, there's a change in behavior caused by biochemical changes in the brain after continued substance abuse. The substance use becomes the main priority of the person with the substance use disorder, regardless of the harm it causes to themselves or others. With dependence, we're referring to physical dependence on a substance characterized by symptoms of tolerance. Characterized by symptoms of tolerance and withdrawal. Benzodiazepine withdrawal is similar to alcohol withdrawal symptoms. We would be seeing things like elevated vital signs, high blood pressure, tachycardia, diaphoresis, mild alteration of mental status, initially with a possibility of perceptual disturbances, delirium, dysphoria, and tremors. Did the insomnia predate the Ativan use? I hear your concerns about the benzos. So my recommendation is do not take them every night. I recommend taking only every other night, and then we will not refill it.
And so what's diaphoresis?
Sweating.
Okay. And in the fields of prescribing psychiatric medications, do you often have to deal with physical dependency and then addressing it later?
I wouldn't say often.
Is there a way to address that as far?
Absolutely, yeah.
And so that wasn't a concern of yours regarding Ativan, was it?
Not at that time.
And what about her statement about not being heard? Did you see that in her message? Where she says, I feel like I'm not being heard about addiction.
That being a possibility.
As a psychiatric nurse practitioner dealing in psychiatric medicine, is it important to you when a patient tells you that I don't feel I'm heard?
Yes.
And do you take that in consideration when addressing them and continuing to build that relationship?
Yes.
And so in this case with the defendant, with Lindsay Clancy, did that change your approach with her at all?
It's why I sent the message that I did, trying to explain what addiction versus dependence and tolerance is. And I wanted to reassure her that we will try to have you take these less frequently and we don't need to continue them moving forward.
So she advocated for herself and you took that into consideration and created an alternative plan or suggested an alternative plan?
Yes.
Did your care of her change at all when she told you she wasn't being heard?
I wouldn't say it changed.
You treated her as you would any other patient, right?
Correct.
Now, you continued to have messages with her throughout that day. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And so at 10:02, you receive a message from her. Says, the insomnia started from the Zoloft, but then after the 2 weeks of daily Ativan and Benadryl use, that's when the insomnia was at its worst. I've tried so many different sleeping aids at this point, trazodone, Ambien, Remeron, Seroquel, and they all seem to barely touch the sleep until I take Ativan with them. So tonight I will try 15 of Remeron with 50 of Seroquel. I fear that if I wake up in the middle of the night with intrusive thoughts again, I will feel like I need Ativan. Do you recall her sending that message at 10:02?
I do.
And did you take that into consideration when addressing them and building continuing to build that relationship? And that she sent another message, it's kind of cut off, but it's still within the 10 o'clock hour, where she adds, I also just feel concerningly numb right now. Like I have no emotion whatsoever. I feel like I'm going to die and I don't care. What do I do about this?
I do recall that message, yes.
And this is a message that she sent when she would have been or have seen Letitia Dukes already, right? If she had a 9 o'clock appointment?
Yes.
When she sent that message to you, did you respond back to her at 11:35?
I did.
And with the fact that she talked about being numb and having no emotions, feel like I'm going to die and don't care, what did you do?
I said, this sounds like depression and anhedonia symptoms. I would say if you're feeling unsafe, particularly as we head into the weekend, it is important for you to have information for psych emergency services available to you. And I provided a list of the 24-hour emergency service programs like mobile crisis intervention.
Okay. And when you say anhedonia, excuse me if I mispronounced that, what does that mean?
Anhedonia is a symptom of depression where people are unable to feel pleasure. They might describe it as feeling numb. They're unable to look forward to things.
And in her message where she says, I feel like I'm going to die and I don't care, did you take that as a suicidal thought or suicidal ideation?
No.
And so did you tell her to go to the ER right away?
No.
Okay. Did you have concerns that she needed to get a higher level of care at that moment when she sent that message?
My concern about that statement was that I wanted her to have access to resources if it escalated or if it worsened. So I made sure she had it.
Okay. And fair to say you also, at the end of that message, indicate, are you able to get rest or reach out to your support system so that you can be helpful, so they can be helpful to you right now, and that this is hugely important?
I did say that, yes.
And 11:41 a.m., she responds, yes, I have support. My parents are here to help. And again, this is 12:02. Does this sound like side effects to Remeron or Seroquel? I have never felt anything like this before. And then 11:57, she sends another message. Do you think over time these symptoms will go away over time? 12:04, another message from her. Is there any chance you could give me a call to discuss when you have a minute? At 12:10 p.m., and just to confirm, your recommendation for tonight is 15 Remeron, 50 Seroquel, and avoid Ativan, even if I'm not sleeping. So you got those messages in succession, right?
I did.
And were you able to eventually respond to her with a phone call?
I responded to the message at 12:12 p.m. I wrote it down. December 3rd was a Saturday.
And you actually were out of the office on the 5th with sickness.
I was.
But you were aware that Lindsay Clancy did reach out to the office on December 5th.
Yes.
And that the nurse was able to respond to her to let her know that you were out sick, right?
Yes.
And Lindsay Clancy responds at 8:30 a.m. that day that that she would just reschedule. Lindsay reaches out to the nurse and says that's fine, she'll reschedule, and that she, in fact, changed her appointment with Letitia Dukes to a virtual appointment for that day, for December 5th.
Yes.
So on the 6th, when you return, did you have a scheduled meeting with Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
And on this particular meeting on December 6th of 2022, do you recall if that was an in-person or a virtual visit?
It was an office visit.
Okay.
In person.
And so just kind of looking at the note from that day, from December 6th, it says encounter date December 6th. It says filed on December 7th. In the under chief complaint history, do you have it in front of you?
Yes.
The second paragraph says patient has verbally consented to this video visit. Is that just something that sometimes pre-fills into the narrative?
Yes.
But your memory was that this was an in-person visit.
It was.
Was Lindsay Clancy there by herself or with somebody else?
She brought in her husband, Patrick.
Had you met him before?
I had not.
Had you talked to him before?
I had not.
As part of your treatment plan or your course of treatment with Lindsay Clancy, was it your practice to speak with collateral individuals?
Yes.
And in this instance, did you feel a need to speak to collateral individuals up to this point?
Not up to this point.
If you did, would you have requested that of her?
Yes,
And do you need her express permission to do that?
I do.
So on this particular day, she presented with her husband, Patrick, correct?
Correct.
And was there anything different about your approach to the meeting than your previous meetings with her?
No.
You still go through history, you go through how she's doing now, you do your mental status exam, you do your screenings, right?
Yes.
And so first, just let's talk quickly about the screenings. The Edinburgh screen, what was her score on this day when she came in? Do you remember?
21.
Okay. And the GAD-7, fair to say that screen was a 19.
Yes.
So would you say that it was pretty consistent with the last time that you saw her?
Objection.
What's your objection?
My objection is that that's not right. He's now got a 21 Edinburgh scale. Prior testimony was not anywhere near 21. It's deteriorated.
Well, I'm gonna allow that question. On cross-examination, you can certainly explore the basis of what her opinion was. So I'm gonna allow that question. Go ahead, Como.
Well, let me ask you about that score of 21. It's 21 out of how much?
30.
So in what range is that?
Moderate severe.
Okay. And on your previous encounter with her on, or your actual telehealth on November 29th, you reported that the score was 17 and that's moderate.
Moderate. Yep.
And then on the GAD-7, on this particular day on December 6th, it was 19, right?
Yes.
And on the previous visit, it was 14.
Yes.
Okay. So as far as your observations of her on December 6th, did you notice anything different about her speech and language?
No.
How about her mood? What did you note her mood to be?
Anxious.
And the affect, fair to say, consistent with mood, meaning anxious, right?
Yes.
And thought process.
Thought process was linear and goal-directed.
And thought content, did she indicate to you whether she was experiencing any auditory or visual hallucinations?
No.
Any delusions?
No.
Any suicidal ideation, a plan, or intent?
No.
And as far as your observations of her during this interaction, this in-person visit, did you observe any signs of psychosis?
No.
Did you observe any signs of mania?
No.
Did you observe any signs of obsessive thoughts or compulsive behaviors?
No.
Now, when you met with Lindsay and Patrick on December 6th, did she or did they report why Patrick was there?
I don't recall if they indicated why he was there. I understood it to mean he was there to provide collateral and support for her.
Were you aware that he was coming to the appointment?
I don't recall if I was aware beforehand or not.
And you had engaged in a pretty significant my chart back and forth with her in the days preceding this this meeting on December 6th, right?
Yes.
Did she ever indicate to you Did she ever indicate to you in those messages that she wished to bring him along to one of the visits?
No.
Fair to say, when a person brings a collateral and is willing to have somebody speak, you're more than happy to get that information.
Absolutely.
This person, this collateral person, can they offer you a different perspective about the patient and what they're going through or what they're, how they're presenting?
Yes.
In this December 6th meeting, or the visit, did she report to you some changes in her sleep or significant concern for sleep?
I would have to review the note. What I remember is that the sleep really hadn't improved much beyond getting a few hours, waking up in the middle of the night, maybe piecing together
Okay.
more time. I said, okay, sounds good. I hope so as well. And that was it.
When's the next time you spoke with her?
12/16 was a Friday, so I spoke to her on Monday, December 19th.
And again, did you speak with her via the MyChart messaging, or did you speak to her on the phone?
MyChart messaging.
And were you aware that on December 19th she had another appointment scheduled with Letitia Dukes for that morning?
Yes.
And in your communications with her via MyChart, they started at 11:04 a.m. on December 19th?
Yes.
And does she indicate to you in that message that she is starting with women and infants partial hospitalization tomorrow, meaning the 20th?
Yes.
And that she's concerned because she has an appointment scheduled with you already, and she's asking what she should do about that, correct?
Correct.
And what was your response to her?
So she has an appointment, but should be in the program. Should I call and cancel or reschedule because she thought the program would be starting her medication? I said, I'm so glad you were able to get into the program this week. That's great. So feel free to call and reschedule. The only issue is that I am on vacation next week, so it might be 2 weeks out that we touch base again if that's okay with you. Let me know what you think.
Okay. And her response at 1:24 that says, I think since I'll be followed by women and infants, that 2 weeks out will be okay. My only concern is potentially needing more Valium before that. I'm trying my best not to take it at night, but have still been taking 2 milligrams every other night. Can we refill that just in case I continue to need it, right?
Right.
So at that point, when she sends that message saying she needs the new prescription for Valium, was that in line with the recommendations you made for a taper of Valium?
I had recommended that she take it daily.
Okay. And so in this, she indicates to you that she's trying not to take it at night, but taking it every other night.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And on December 19th, you respond, sure, no problem. When will you be out of Valium? And she responds, I'll run out tonight. And then you agree to send in a refill.
Yes, I wanted to make sure she had an appointment rescheduled with me, and then I would refill enough of the Valium to get to that next appointment.
And so did you refill the prescription based on what she reported she was taking, or what your recommendation was that she take of the Valium?
What my recommendation was that she take.
And so do you recall receiving a message on December 20th via MyChart from Lindsay?
I do.
And she reported to you that she had been discharged from women and infants that day, correct?
Correct.
And that they recommended she find help getting off the Seroquel, and that she was indicating that she'd like to taper the Seroquel.
Yes.
Did you respond that day or the next day?
The next day.
Okay.
Her message came in at 8:05 p.m., so I responded the next morning.
Okay, 10:57?
Yes.
And what were your thoughts about her report that she was discharged and the recommendation for tapering the Seroquel, or getting off the Seroquel, I should say?
I said I'm not opposed to that. However, I'm concerned she discharged you, as I do feel you could benefit from the groups and added support separate even from medication changes. In fact, if we're not going the medication route, I think groups and therapy are the treatment needed, as I feel the intrusive thoughts you've been having are nonetheless concerning, and I know they've caused you considerable distress. I'm also on vacation next week, so I'm hesitant to start a taper when I am not available to you for questions and concerns. Again, I'm open to starting a taper, but I want to be available to you as it happens. You mentioned you are connected to your previous psychiatrist. Would that be someone to consult as well?
And so when you sent this message at 10:57, were you opposed to the idea of tapering the Seroquel?
I understood that it was helping her to sleep, and I also understood that she felt as though she was still depressed, and she wanted to come off of it.
And in this correspondence back and forth on the 21st, was there any conversation about the lamotrigine and whether she took it as a mood stabilizer?
No.
As far as coming off medication, was that something that you thought might be a good option for her?
As I had expressed to her, I was hesitant. It could be done, but she would need a lot of what I would recommend to be group support, therapy, other types of treatment.
At that point, based on your interactions with her through the clinic, through all the messages, through the meetings that you've had, were you aware of whether she was getting any other support, like groups, other than Letitia Dukes and yourself?
No.
And this partial...
I apologize. Is she aware or no, she wasn't? She just said
Okay,
no.
sure. If you could just,
Are you aware of whether she was?
I was aware it was recommended. I was not aware that she was interacting with any groups.
And the South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Program, you have groups that are offered through the clinic, correct?
At that time we did, yes.
And if she was attending groups through the clinic, would that be something that you would have access to or be noted in her records?
Yes.
And as far as your communications with her, did she report to you that she was attending any sort of groups or therapy at other places in the community?
No.
The only person you were aware of that she was communicating with was her previous psychiatrist, correct?
Correct.
And that's why you made that recommendation to consult with her?
Correct.
And what's your concern, or what was your concern for not being available to her while you were on vacation with a taper?
I wanted to be there to evaluate if the taper was going okay, if she was suddenly having a hard time sleeping again, so maybe I could recommend that we go back up, or, just to reassure her, to be there for her while this was happening.
In your prior communications with her, she was very communicative with you about symptoms, about issues, about concerns, correct?
Correct.
And if you're on vacation, are you responding to my chat messages?
No. There would be someone that would respond. It would have been my nurse, and they would have consulted with the two other, and Julie, I believe her last day was the 22nd, but they would have consulted with the other NP there, but I would not be available, no.
And you were invested in this patient's care, weren't you?
Yes.
So on December 21st, after you made that recommendation that she not start the taper while you weren't available or consult with her other psychiatrist, did you get a response from her at 3:57?
On December 21st?
Yes.
I see 3:47.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
So 3:47, she responds back to you, correct? And gives you some more information about the women and infants recommendation.
Yes.
And it reads, the psychiatrist at Women and Infants recommended a more general mental health, PHP, partial hospitalization program, right?
Correct.
Such as the one at McLean, which I'm open to. I'm also looking to schedule with a CBT therapist in Duxbury. My other therapist does have appointments this and next week, so I can follow up with her too. How would you recommend starting the taper? I will need smaller pills, as the ones I have now are all 300 milligrams. Right? That's her response?
Yes, she says her other psychiatrist does have appointments.
Okay. And in the meantime, she had also sent an email to the clinic. Are you aware?
I'm not aware.
Okay. Do you know if she spoke with the nurse at some point on the 21st?
Yes, I asked my nurse to call to, again, go over the risks of tapering, which could include worsening of mood, worsening of sleep, verify that this was really something she wanted to move forward with, remind her that I wouldn't be there.
Okay. And on December 21st, 2022 at 4:26 p.m., you respond to her in the My Chart message, right?
Right.
And you had expressed reluctance for the taper, but ultimately did you provide her a plan for taper?
Right. I said, I know Nicole reached out to you and she relayed that you would like to proceed with the taper. I'm sending as 100 milligram tablets, 200 milligrams, 2 tablets for 4 nights, 100 milligrams, 1 tablet for 4 nights, 50 milligram tabs, half tablets times 4 nights, then off. Let me know if any issues.
And is that a standard or slow taper off of Seroquel being at a 300 milligram dose?
Considering the fact that she had only been taking it for a few weeks, yes. If she had been on it for months, I would have done a slower taper.
This court's now in session. Please be seated.
Your Honor, for the purpose of the record, we return back to the trial of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present, including the 18 jurors.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Reddington?
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Your Honor, just a couple of housekeeping matters. I have the medical records from Women and Infants Hospital. I thought I offered that as an exhibit, but it's only marked for ID, so can I offer that now?
Commonwealth, any objection?
I have that we did mark them as Exhibit 220.
Yeah, I don't, this just says Exhibit F, though. That's why I usually mess up on those things.
There was another smaller packet that's not in a binder that counsel offered yesterday that's been marked as Exhibit 220.
Yeah, it's up there.
Okay. All right, why don't we keep that marked for identification? If for some reason there's something different between Exhibit 220 and the identification, we could enter it. Okay. All right, if you need to offer anything additional, just let me know.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Don. The other thing, Your Honor, that what I would ask is that there has been a lot of reference to the Diagnostic Statistical Manual 5-TR, especially as it relates to bipolar and related disorders. There's not an awful lot, but there's like probably 15 pages of single-space typing, and it's really hard for people to absorb it. I'd like to offer that section of the DSM just as an exhibit, so if somebody wanted to look at it, they could.
I would object. We have witnesses to testify about that.
All right.
All right.
Why don't we mark that for identification? I guess
That's my book, though. I need it.
I don't want to take away your book. Why don't we can readdress that.
Okay, sure. Yep.
In regards to that, and if we're going to do it, it would just be portions of the
Yes, it would only be
DSM-5.
that one section.
But we'll see. Well, I'll give the Commonwealth the opportunity to be heard.
Okay, thank you. So you, in the course of your employment at the South Shore Health, is it?
Yes.
How many times did Lindsay meet with you?
Meet with me was 3.
And how many times did she meet with, does that include medical?
Yes, I saw her twice, telehealth once in person.
And do you know how many times that, you know that she had a psychiatrist that had been treating her since end of September, early October, right?
I knew that she had a psychiatrist that treated her in September.
And who was that?
Dr. Tufts.
And did you know that she continued to see Dr. Tufts through October, November, December, the same time that she was reaching out to you guys for help too?
I was aware she took the Zoloft in October. I was not aware she was still seeing Dr. Tufts in November. And I knew she called her in December.
You would agree with me that young woman came to you people for help, right?
Yes.
Okay. And she was very, very forthright. In other words, if you wanted her to sign a HIPAA form, she'd sign it, right?
Right.
And she would answer your questions to your perspective in an honest fashion.
Yes.
She didn't really hide anything.
Nope.
She told you all about the medications that she had been on and her fears and concerns about the medications, right?
Correct.
She described for you, as District Attorney brought out, what she felt her symptomology was, including suicidal ideation, worrying about suicide, feeling heavy, lethargic, you can't get out of bed, all of that stuff, right? Correct?
Correct.
And one of the things that you had left us with towards the end of your testimony is the fact that you were very willing, if you will, to work in tandem with other providers. In other words, you were concerned about being able to get information from other providers that had been dealing with her, treating her, right?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Did you talk to Tufts?
No.
Did you ever get access to Tufts medical records?
No.
Do you know how many times she saw Dr. Tufts?
I do not.
Would it surprise you if I told you that she saw Dr. Tufts 14 times in the time frame of October or the end of September, October, November, December, and then January, 4 months?
Yes.
And that's 14 times plus the 3 that she saw you. Is that right?
Yes.
So that's 17 times that this young lady had access to healthcare providers for her.
If it was a 30 count of 100 milligrams.
Do you remember writing quetiapine script for 100 milligrams?
I do. I believe the quantity was 22.
22. Okay. So on December 7th of 22, you wrote a script for quetiapine, and forgive me, I'm sorry, what is that again?
Seroquel.
Seroquel, for 100 milligrams, right?
Yes.
And why did you write the script on November 30th for quetiapine 25 milligrams and then about a week later increase it to 100 milligrams?
On November 30th, I had anticipated utilizing it over a 4-week course of treatment for sleep and anxiety. But her clinical symptoms, presentations changed, and we opted to use it for mood stabilization.
And who's we?
Me.
Okay. And were you working with anybody else, any psychiatrists or anybody?
No.
So when a person comes to your clinic as a woman who has recently had a baby or is within that postpartum range of time and presents with the symptomology that she presented, is that something that would give you cause for concern? Suicidal ideation?
I in no way want to minimize what Lindsay experienced, but it's common for us to treat.
It's common to treat women in that
Yes.
fashion that are postpartum?
Postpartum who may have suicide.
Keeps cutting off the witness before she gives an answer. May she complete her answer?
Sure. As I've said before, let's only talk one at a time. You finish your answer, and then we'll go to the question.
Go ahead.
Her symptoms were serious, and it's not uncommon for me to treat women with serious symptoms in the postpartum period.
Okay. 2 days later, you prescribed 8 count, 5 milligrams of diazepam. Is that right?
2 days from December 7th?
Yeah, it was December 9th.
December 9th. Yes.
4 days later, you prescribed more diazepam. Is that correct? December 13th?
Correct. That would have been 2 milligrams?
Yes. And then jump ahead to December 19th, you prescribed 14 count, 2 milligrams of diazepam. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then December 19th, you prescribed 300 milligrams of quetiapine, 30 count, right?
Correct.
And that was on December 19th. 3 days later, on December 21st, you prescribed additional quetiapine, 100 milligrams, 14 count, right?
Correct.
And then 1 day later, you prescribed more quetiapine, 25 milligrams of 14 count, right?
Correct.
As far as your prescriptions continued on, if we can jump ahead, you continued to treat her, and on January 13th, you prescribed 2 milligrams of diazepam, 7 count, right? That would be on January 13th?
I did not prescribe that on January 13th.
All right, if I suggest to you that Rebecca Jollotta has a script for January 13th of diazepam, that doesn't refresh your memory?
Would it
Right.
would it have been a script that I had sent previously that hadn't been filled at the original date?
Well, I believe the records would indicate that. We'll make a note of it. January 13th, diazepam. How about January 16th? Do you recall prescribing diazepam to her? 2 milligrams, 3 count.
No.
Diazepam on the 19th of January, 2 milligrams, 14 count.
No.
No? So you're not able to prescribe medications, somebody else can't use your name, right?
Right.
Okay. And you have the DEA license to prescribe medications, correct?
Correct.
Now, one of the things that you went through was a lot of, obviously, it's a little confusing with the names of the various drugs, and the district attorney said to you blithely, she said, well, she's a nurse, so she knows what those drug names mean. Do you recall that question?
I do.
Yeah. And you just said yeah, right? Mm-hmm. So you're assuming that a woman who gets her RN at the age of 24 in a 1-year program and then works for 7 years as a labor and delivery nurse is familiar with these names and what they are, what drugs they are?
She seemed to be familiar with them. Yes, she understood.
Right. Did you know that she was Googling 60, 70, 100 times a night what benzodiazepines are, what Seroquel is, what all of these medications are?
I did not know that.
Did you ever ask her where she acquired what appeared to be, apparently to you, her ability to know what these medications are?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Well, you wouldn't know the medications that a labor and delivery nurse uses when they're helping a woman who's giving birth, would you?
Not necessarily.
Okay. In any event, one of the things that you left us with is the fact that you were very, I think the word was invested in Lindsay Clancy and were concerned about her treatment, right?
Correct.
You knew that she had gone to the Rhode Island program for Women and Infants Center, Behavioral Health Day Program in Providence, Rhode Island. You knew that, right?
I did.
And you basically gave her the referral. You didn't make the referral. I think it was Latasha Dukes that might have done that.
Correct.
So you were aware of the fact that a recommendation was made to Lindsay that she reach out to someone else for help, right?
Lindsay made me aware of that, yes.
And she needed help, didn't she?
Yes.
And she went to Women's and Infants Hospital on December 20th, right?
She did.
And was she treated at Women and Infants?
I don't believe so.
Why not?
I wouldn't want to speculate or assume, but it
Why
seemed
would-
to be her intake appointment.
Or what?
Her intake appointment?
Okay. So without assuming or speculating, you referred her to this provider, right?
Yes.
So you have this woman who you know has been seeing Dr. Tufts, a psychiatrist, right?
Right.
You knew that. You didn't get access to Tufts records. You didn't know what Tufts was doing, but you knew that for a period of time before she saw you, she was dealing with a psychiatrist, right?
Yes.
You knew that she was a woman who had just given birth like 5 months ago, right?
Yes.
You knew that she was obviously in trouble. She was sick, right?
Yes.
You told us that she was suffering from, and your words were, a mental health illness that was very real. And you told her that this will get better. And that was in December of 2022.
Yes.
So when you referred her needing help to this Women's and Infants program in Rhode Island, and she went because that's what she was told to do, what happened at Women and Infants program?
I can't speak to what happened at Women and Infants
Why not?
because I was not a part of that assessment.
What does that mean?
I did not see the assessment, and I did not speak with Dr. Diaz.
Why?
Lindsay had informed me that she was going to be at the program for 2 weeks.
She was hoping to be at the program for 2 weeks, right?
She told me she was going to be at the program for 2 weeks.
But she was turned away after about 8 hours of sitting there in an assessment and sitting in a group session. And she was turned away because of their concern that she was suffering from, well, let me ask you, what was their diagnosis?
I'm not sure.
Did you ever find out?
I have not.
Does it matter to you as a treating person that I think your words were is invested in Lindsay Clancy?
And I do know that she was in contact with other providers at our program, including Letitia Dukes, while I was on vacation.
And Letitia Dukes is a social worker, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. December 9th, there was another telephone encounter, it's called, right?
Yes.
And yet again, her husband, Pat, was involved with this call, right?
Yes.
So does this put Patrick up to around 4 times, maybe 5 times that he had been involved either in person with your business or on the telephone or on the telemetry or whatever it is, computer?
I spoke with him on the phone twice. He was in one of our visits on December 6th, and it appears he was in the visit with Letitia as well.
So this would be a Rebecca Jollotta telephone
Yes.
encounter on December 9th, right?
Correct.
And on that occasion, Lindsay, and it says, and her husband called this writer, that'd be you, right?
Correct.
Regarding the plan to taper, correct?
Correct.
And they both agreed that Lindsay's symptoms remain too acute. What does that mean? What's acute mean?
Severe.
Did they say that she's sleeping but waking up? Let me back up. Was he telling you all of this while she sat there? She wasn't saying much in that conversation, was she?
I don't recall who was saying more than the other person.
Do you recall that she indicated that she wanted her husband to be involved to speak for her because she was really decompensating, right? She wasn't self-reporting and self-advocating too well for herself at that point, was she?
I just know she did have her husband on the call, and he did speak on the call.
They indicated that she was waking up with panic symptoms, right?
Correct.
What panic symptoms? What does that mean?
Panic symptoms can be this sudden rush of intense
That's not what can be. What did she tell you, or what did her husband tell you? Her
panic symptoms. Panic symptoms.
What were they?
Panic symptoms are racing heart, intense fear. Those are panic symptoms. Sudden rushes of intense anxiety that seem to come out of nowhere.
Okay. Is that something that you learn in school, or is that in a book? Is it in the DSM, or what? So we all have our own opinion as to what panic symptoms might be, but from a medical standpoint.
Those are what panic symptoms are.
Would you agree that Patrick, in this conversation, also indicated that she was having intrusive thoughts, yet again? Right?
Correct.
What were the intrusive thoughts that she was having when she wakes up with panic symptoms?
I don't recall the specific intrusive thoughts. I recall asking about safety and that she did identify having thoughts of suicide.
Well, Patrick told you that she has thoughts of suicide, right?
Lindsay as well.
Okay, so I'm asking you what you, as an invested healthcare provider, told this woman to advise her what your investigation revealed. If you have a patient tell you, I'm having intrusive thoughts, what were they?
I recall that they were intrusive suicidal thoughts.
And is this a frequent theme that you noted?
I don't know if it was a frequent theme that I noted, but I know that it was documented several times throughout her course of treatment with providers in my program.
So at this point, with all the providers of your program and her indications, as well as her husband's, about the number of times that she had suicidal ideation, did you prescribe more drugs for her?
At this occasion, I prescribed Valium.
You bumped her up to Seroquel to 400 milligrams, didn't you?
Yes.
Did that help? How'd that work out?
At 200 milligrams, she was able to sleep. So I felt that the manic symptoms in her mixed presentation were alleviated at 200.
So on December 12th, she sent you one of those messages. Thank you, Rebecca. December 12th. She says, for the last 3 nights, I've taken 2.5 milligrams of Valium and 200 of Seroquel. I have to say, I do like the way it makes me sleep deeply and soundly for about 7 or 8 hours. I don't like the way I feel in the morning. You read that to the jury for the DA, right?
Yes.
But then the rest of the sentence is, incredibly depressed and unmotivated to do anything at all. Do you remember her saying that?
Yes.
Now, you'd agree with me that that's one of the observations that you make, or symptomology of a person that's suffering significantly from postpartum anxiety, depression. She's incredibly depressed and unmotivated to do anything, right? What
Correct.
does that mean? What does she mean by that?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
When she says that she's unmotivated and is incredibly depressed, was she able to go shopping? Could she get in the car and drive? Did you know that she stopped driving?
I was not aware of that.
On December 12th, she saw Letitia Dukes. Patients reporting thoughts of SI, suicidal ideation, but no plan. She contacted Crisis over the weekend and will be starting a PHP in Norwell. What does that mean?
Partial hospitalization program?
Okay, and that's because, yet again, she's reporting the suicidal ideation, correct?
Correct.
And there's a difference between suicidal ideation and having thoughts of suicide, right? Under the DSM?
Were you talking to her about postpartum depression?
Let me double check, please.
Mm-hmm.
I was.
So that's when you sent the information and the mood chart, right?
Yes.
So that's November 30th, December 1st. And now by the time you get to December 7th, after having pretty significant back and forth communication with her, now you're talking with her and giving her some information about bipolar, correct?
Correct.
So upon her presentation at the clinic and her initial focus of treatment, it was for postpartum depression and anxiety, was it not?
Yes.
And as you began to have more contact with her, as you began to trial different medication regimens, is that when your differential diagnosis started to emerge?
Yes.
And you responded to that appropriately with the medication you recommended, right?
Yes.
That's why the titrating of Seroquel became a conversation. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And when you, after the Women and Infants program on December 20th, you didn't see Lindsay Clancy again in the clinic, did you? Either telehealth or in person?
No.
And the only contact you had with her was through the messages about the plan for tapering, correct?
Correct.
And while you were going to be away and not available to her, you still gave her a plan and a prescription to assist with tapering, didn't you?
I did.
Was your clinic or your colleagues still available for her if she needed it?
Yes.
Did she reach out?
I believe that either she or Patrick did reach out on December 30th.
And that was for a higher level of care recommendations, right?
Correct.
But as far as issues with the taper, did she reach out to you or your colleagues about issues with the taper?
No.
Now, counsel went through with you a call in which Patrick and Lindsay, or Lindsay indicated to you that she was having panic symptoms and intrusive thoughts. Do you recall that?
Yes.
In that call, did you contract for safety?
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means assessing immediate safety. For example, not to speak in hypothetical, but if somebody was saying, I have a plan to kill myself, I have a knife, I am calling 911, I am sectioning that person. If somebody's saying, I'm having thoughts of suicide, okay, what are they? Do you have a plan? Do you have intent? What I recall from Lindsay is she was having thoughts of suicide. She did not disclose a plan, no intent, and her husband was aware of this as well. He was on the call.
And in fact, in any of the times that you met with or had messages with Lindsay Clancy and she talked about intrusive thoughts or suicidal thoughts, did she ever articulate that she ever had a plan?
No.
Or that she ever actually had any intent of completing the act?
No.
And you're aware that she did have support in the way of her husband and her family, didn't you?
I was aware of that.
And again, intrusive thoughts, when a person tells you, a postpartum mom tells you they're having intrusive thoughts in your training experience, in the times that you've treated moms with postpartum depression or anxiety or even psychosis, that's a fairly common complaint, right?
Yes.
And again, depressed and unmotivated, fairly common to hear those from new moms.
Yes.
And in your experience in treating individuals with postpartum psychosis, whether they hear voices or not, did you ever have any concerns based on your contact with Lindsay Clancy that she was suffering from postpartum psychosis?
I did not.
I have nothing further.
Well, it appears as though she was, doesn't it?
Objection.
Hold on. Why don't we do this? Why don't you get over there, Mr. Reddington, if you can, go ahead. Let me ask you a question.
I will try it.
All right. All right. Anything further? All right. Ma'am, you can step down. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.